All right, and we're live now, bitches. Welcome, gamers, haters, bastards, whoever you are out there in the gaming world. OGL number 37. And tonight, we're going still NS, aka Switch, but in we're not going to system, but I just have a few questions for all the gamers out there, especially those that don't own a Wii U and those that don't own a Wii U, but certainly just all of a sudden they do want this system. So before I get started, let me go ahead and introduce my panelists here, starting with Mr. Red Fox.
It's me, Mr. Red Fox, owner and proprietor of Bullshit Busters. You guys know my channel. You know that I'm the dude who doesn't take bullshit lightly. So let's get to it.
All right. And next up, we got, I believe that's Perry Fan.
Yes, it is. New icon for the new holiday tomorrow. But other than that, this is Perry Fan, random citizen of the internet, back to on the OGL again. Hooray! Let's do it.
Right.
All right, Sprite Remix here. Just keeping it short and sweet. Let's get this started, and it's time to switch brands. Hint, hint.
Oh, Lord.
Well, we'll go ahead and hop into it. Andre Walker, the guy who posts links and articles from, I think it's Jeweler Con or Jeweler Con. I forget how you pronounce it. I'm sorry if I'm abusing it, man. He may pop up on here tonight. He had plans to, but you guys know he may show up. But anyway, my first question is to the gamers out there that don't own a Wii U or hating on a Wii U, could claim not to have a reason to buy a Wii U. Question number one: why now do you want controller options? Because last time I checked, and I own two Wii U's, the one thing I always heard gamers saying that, oh, we just want to play with standard controller. We don't want all the motion and the gyro. We just want to play with standard controller. So why now do you want? Why are you happy with that? And I want you guys to give your take. But before we do, go ahead and introduce Mr. Walker. Andre? Andre, can you hear me? If you can hear me, man, we cannot hear you. All right, he must be having mic issues. Well, go ahead. You can go first, Sprite.
It's just a typical day out in the gamer community because it's funny. All the gamepad is gimmicky this and gimmicky that, and now it's like, oh, I love my new options. And what's funny is they gave you options in the past, even all the way back to the regular Wii with the classic controller, and then they did the same Wii U with the Pro controller. They give you these options, and plus the Wii U's backwards compatible with the Wii accessories, and people still bitching and complaining. I don't understand that.
All right. What about you, Perry? Why do you think now they want controller options, but even in the current gen, even though the 9th gen hasn't started with the current gen, they didn't care for them?
It's just everyday hypocrisy. You just gotta love that stuff. But no, like that's basically it. I think it's just because Wii U was just such a failure that they didn't want to acknowledge any positivity whatsoever. And now that there's a new thing, there's a new hope. So insert your Star Wars reference there. But other than that, like they just see it as a new beginning, even though they're they could have done the same thing like in the past. But I don't know.
Okay. What about you, Red Fox?
Two things. Before I get into it, I don't think the Wii U was a failure. First of all, I think that public perception of it was a failure, but I mean, let's keep it real. There are a decent amount of first and second and third party games on the Wii U that have outsold first and second and third party games that have come out on the Xbox One and the PS4. So, in terms
Well,
of,
you know, man, if you don't sell 20 million units, then you're a failure.
well, then everyone's a failure that in that regard. And secondly, just the reason people are bitching about controls now is because um, gamers are at their core are gamers are whiny little bitches. Not all of them, but a lot of gamers now are whiny little bitches. They're like, okay, look, okay, you know, if you want to play a game, you're gonna have to get used to a control scheme, whether you're gonna have options or not, right? Like, if you wanted to get into the Wii game, you had to get used to using a Wiimote most of the time. Yeah, you could use the GameCube controller, the Pro controller for a lot of games, but a lot of them you couldn't really enjoy those games with just a standard controller. There's nothing wrong with that. So people need to calm down, untie their panties because they aren't manning up, not even panties. They need to unknot their diapers, okay, and start acting like adults, okay. That's it. That's all I had to say.
And Andre, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me okay? Dang, what is going on?
What's up, man?
All right, fantastic. Glad you can hear me now. Again, Andre Walker, go by Jewel Archon, and of course have my blog, Jewel Archon Gaming. Definitely a pleasure to get the opportunity to join the call tonight. Look forward to the discussion and of course future discussions as well.
All right, we're glad to have you here, man. I hope to have you back as many times as possible. And people, viewers, this is probably one of the few. I look forward to reading this shit every single time. No BS. Doesn't waste my time whatsoever. He's not pushing the popular narrative. Nothing like that. Just. But anyway,
Appreciate
we're
that.
talking about the Nintendo Switch, but not in the manner everyone else is. So my first question was, why now do all these so-called gamers, the ones that didn't buy the Wii U or didn't want it, why do they now want control options when they didn't want it with the Wii U?
Mind if I weigh in? All right, fantastic. It's funny because like I believe it was Red Knight just Red Knight Red Fox just saying that a lot of people are they I don't know I think what it is a lot of people are followers. They tend to want to follow what the in crowd says is right. So as opposed to thinking for themselves, they want to jump on and be negative about Nintendo in general because that's what most people are doing. But it's funny because watching the reveal trailer, 3.5 minutes, completely shifted 25 million people, or at least 25 million views, where people were clamoring to get information, and they look at the trailer and they see that that so many people are excited about something, and so of course because it's popular to be excited about Nintendo, now they want to be excited about the Switch. And so people that have owned the Wii U for quite some time, we know that this is just the next step, being able to do what they're able to do with that, as opposed to what we were able to do with the Wii U. It's not a lot different, other than the fact that it's now something that we can take on the go. But as far as controller options and different things like that, we've had that. We've had it for quite some time, and we'll have it with the Switch. But for whatever reason, people want to, still try to figure out a way to be different, in that they can, find a way to bash Nintendo or hate Nintendo for whatever reason. So, my biggest thing is, they wanted to hate the Wii U so bad that they did it, and then they weren't able to find a way back. and now they're trying to find a way to do the same thing for the Switch when they don't even know what it's going to offer as a whole. If that makes sense, I don't know. People are just weird that way.
I completely agree, man. I just found it funny that I've seen all these comments saying, man, the the Joy Cons are great. They hope they have motion controls, and I'm thinking, but you guys didn't even want to buy a Wii U that had all those things, but now you're hoping that it has it. When all you were fighting for the Wii U was, don't implement gamepad, just implement with a regular Pro controller. It's like,
Right.
okay, you're flip flopping, and I don't understand that. This gen's not even over yet, and you're flip flopping.
Well, you know what happened, right? Like basically, Sony became the lead console. And Microsoft um, became the follower too. And the thing is like Sony didn't do anything to innovate. Microsoft tried to innovate and fell flat on their asses. But first they fell on their face, and then they tried to stand up and fell on their asses. So, like, an industry where no one's actually trying to push anything new forward. And I know people are like, what about VR? Look, they
No, the
tried to
hell with
push
that.
VR. Well, no, they tried to push VR in the 70s. It didn't work. The 80s, it didn't work. The 90s, it didn't work. The early aughts, it didn't work. And now they're trying to push it again now. That's 5 damn times they've tried to push this shit forward. And every time, it either falls flat on its ass or it runs for a little bit and fizzles out. So at this point, like VR, I don't think is going to become the next thing in gaming. It's just not, okay? So, I mean, like, there's really nowhere else to go. And who are they going to look to? The only people who've been fucking innovating for the last 3 gens, which is Nintendo, because Sony and Microsoft ain't been doing it. I know some people say, what about Kinect? What about the Move? All that shit was an answer to what Nintendo was doing. So,
The Simpsons did it.
Yeah, Nintendo's The Simpsons. No matter what you come up with, they did it. They were thinking about it or had a concept for it first.
Well, this actually segues into the next question I have, and that will be this: why now? And I made a meme about this about a week ago. Why now do they want Wii U games? I've seen a lot of comments, different websites where people are saying, "Yeah, I hope they port over all the Wii U games. Hope they make it backwards compatible with the Wii U." You can buy a Wii U now, and almost every bundle comes with one game, if not two, for $250 to $300. I
Man,
just bought
fuck
my
that.
second Wii U this past Christmas that came with Smash Brothers 4 and Splatoon for $250. My
Let me put
second
this
one.
way. You can get a Wii U right now off of Nintendo's website, a refurbed Wii U, which is basically as good as new, with their warranty for $150. If you get like the basic 8 gig model for $150, okay? I mean, which basically it's also a Wii. So you get 2 systems in one, a real backwards compatibility, not that bullshit Microsoft says is backwards. So, I mean, you get for $150, you get 2 systems in one, and it just like I said, these gamers are whiny little bitches. They're kind of like what Andre Walker said. They're bandwagoners. They jump on the bandwagon, and they don't even know. Okay, let me put it this way: if you're someone who I can understand. If you're someone who it's in your interest to have a console that's always online, like if you live in a place where space is at a premium and it's not worth having like a fucking library shelf, 5-6 shelves worth of library space per game, and you just have a small space, it might be in your interest to only be digital. So having an always online console, having a console with lots of hard drive space, I can understand someone saying, we can't, we need, always online. We need all these things. But if you are a gamer who has the option, why would you go for something that puts more impediments on you gaming?
What about you, Sprite? Why do they want Wii U games all of a sudden with the Switch?
Or these plastic
That's
more
because
expensive ways.
no, that's basically what Red Fox said. It's popular now, so now everybody wants to. Oh, I want to switch for this, and that, and it's it's ridiculous at this point. And it's like people are ashamed to even go and buy the system used.
Mhm.
Although, can you find a used Wii U? Because okay, except for those people who keep on selling Wii U's
It's actually very
trading
hard.
them in and buying new ones. I mean, because I went to a GameStop, I was like, "Do you guys have any used Wii U's?" They're like, "No."
Because people are
I know a
keeping them.
guy. I know a
People are
guy who
keeping
knows a
them.
guy. Yeah. Well, people
I
keep their
mean,
Nintendo games, you know.
Here's the thing: a lot of people. I've seen a lot of videos out where people talk about, "Oh, well, I sold my Wii U, or it collected dust, and until I put it in the box and all this stuff." It kind of irks me when people do that because, first of all, nobody's selling their Wii U's like that.
No, except for a few idiots who are like, "I sold my Wii U in order to get a PS4.
Yeah, but then they
I
go
sold
and
the
buy another one.
PS4 to get an Xbox One."
But it's crazy because it's not like the Wii U has games that come out and they go out of style like a month after you bought them, right? It's
No,
not
no, they
like
don't.
a
You'll be
Wii U
playing these
game,
games
a
for years.
AAA game, right? In the bargain bin somewhere for $8 a month after it comes out. It just doesn't happen,
You said a month.
You know, like I can get Street Fighter 5 today for like
No,
15 bucks.
hold on. Let's not bring that up because I just read an article where they said Street Fighter Five has sold like barely 100,000 units between like April and now. So
Wow.
all the bulk of its sales came from like the launch week, and then it just fell off the face of the earth.
Well, that's what they deserve. Look, if you put a garbage product out, it doesn't deserve to sell. And I'm sorry, I know some people are like, man, I'm loving Street Fighter 5. Well, you can love it all you want to. It's garbage. And other people saw it and they were like, I'm not going to buy it. And the
What about you,
sad thing is
Perry?
that
Crazy.
it's on the lead platform. It's on the 50 million plus platform of the PS4. It's only sold 1.24 million. That's fucking embarrassing.
I think Pokken Tournament outsold that, and that's on
Yep,
the lowest
Yes, it
install
did.
base.
1.31. Pokken is beating Street Fighter 5. Lucario has got more game than Ken and Ryu from Street Fighter 5. That is embarrassing, folks.
Well, what about you, Perry? Why do you think all of a sudden these Wii U haters are into the Switch, and one of their main requests is, I hope they port over all the Wii U games?
Well, first, I'm going to backtrack on our conversation, and I'm just going to say I hate the phrase, it's been collecting dust, because everything under an entertainment center collects dust. It's a dusty place.
yeah, like
If you don't clean it regularly, I know it, it's not meant to be literal, but like I hate that. It's like everything under my TV is going to be dusty. Even my TV is dusty.
I think every electronic device in people's house
Yes,
collects
it
dust.
will get dusty.
It's staticky and just dusty. I don't know.
Hey man,
I'm
people's
using
asses,
it every day. It's still dusty.
But
people's
anyway.
asses collect dust. Okay, people's asses.
I want to add into what Perry was saying and what I was saying about the collecting dust and making videos. Why do you have to make a video about you selling a device if you're not putting it up for sale?
Because here's my thing. You're right about that. I don't hear people making videos saying I'm going to sell my iPhone 7 and get myself an Android. You don't hear about that.
No.
You hear about a person saying, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and sell my BMW and get a Mercedes Benz because I'm sick of this shit. You don't hear about that.
No.
But you hear someone say that, oh yeah, Wii U has no games. I'm gonna sell it, get myself a PS4. Like, okay, if you want to sell your shit, that's fine. I'm proud of you. Go ahead and do what you need to do to have fun. But why inform the world of what you're gonna sell?
Well, because these gamers
So they
act
can
like these gamers act like junkies, and I know some people are gonna get mad. They're gonna be like, "No, I'm not a junkie." Yeah, a lot of gamers act like junkies, and I'll explain it. It's very simple. Okay, when someone's addicted to a drug and they need to get their fix, what do? They start selling their possessions in order to get their fix. What do a lot of these gamers do when they want to get that next game? They sell their fucking other games to get that new one. Okay. I mean, that's junkie behavior. And then once they get it and they realize, like a normal junkie, they get that new game, they play it for maybe a week, 2 weeks, a month. But then the high leaves them. So then they're like, shit, I need to get my next fix. So then they trade that in for something else. I mean, they're junkies. They're fucking junkies.
And then at the end of the day, they'll come back around 6 months later, say, "Yeah, I had to go back and buy Call of Duty for the third time because my friends are
Yeah,
on it."
yeah, they're fucking junkies. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah,
Perry,
it's
Perry, you
sad.
done? Perry, you done or not?
No, I was about to go into the whole port thing.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but no, classical conditioning. It's a strong thing. Everyone got used to the PS4, so like, there's condition, new system. Oh, where are my ports? Oh, ring the bell, salivate for ports. Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm with
and
you on that. Oh my God.
but no, like that's just an unfortunate side effect of just the way that the gaming industry is nowadays, and unfortunately, Nintendo is probably going to fall prey to it to an extent, much like how they had to fall prey
but you
to
know what?
DLC. But like
A
Nintendo
good
usually
friend.
does, they will do it in their own way and provide a spin on it that is both businessly, that's not even a word, not profitable for them, and also just a decent consumer uh, friendly option instead of complete lack of understanding consumer bias and just caring strictly about profits. Like with DLC, they're like, okay, here's a full game. We won't talk about DLC or like day one whatevers or any DLC until we get the game done and done promoting this full game that we made, so that you buy the game. And if enough people buy the game, then hey, we still have enough time before we start work on another. We still have fun making this game. Let's make some more stuff, and you can buy it if you want at a decent price.
That's a dirty word, decent price.
But anyway, yeah. And so, if anything that we've seen from that Switch trailer, their ports seem to be ports, yes, but they're ports with a Nintendo spin on them, and where they will probably add a lot more than just here's all the DLC that was on here that you could could have bought, but we're just going to put it all on here for a cheaper price for everyone else. But they'll probably put the DLC, but they'll also put more stuff or an entire new mode or stuff from depending on the game itself. So you know,
Yeah, and see the Good Shepherd. Shout out to him. When I bring up the PS4 to him, because he has one. He has the White Destiny bundle. But the main reason he bought a PS4, if I can recall correctly, was he loves RPGs. He calls it a port station. That's what he calls it because that's basically all it
That's
gets.
what it
And
is.
and I just recently got myself an Xbox One earlier this month, Xbox One S. Got a whole bunch of free stuff with it, great value, and I plan on getting the PS4. Do you know I actually took time to sit down at home and at work and say, okay, let me make a list of games that I want to play on the PS4 that are exclusives.
the PS4 is a great
Do
system
you
if you
know?
do not have a Vita.
I mean, dude, I could barely even come across 5 to 10 exclusive games for the system. I couldn't that I want to play. I think it was like maybe 6 because most of the games I want to play are either online centric, which I'm going to go to Xbox Live for online centric games, or it's like they're also available on the Xbox One. So why would I buy a PS4 just to play it when I already have an Xbox One?
Unless
The
you're a graphics
exclusive
whore.
Don't you want to be the part of the popular crowd though?
Yeah, the hell with the crowd, okay? The crowd doesn't like me anyway. I have 2 Wii Us. That makes me automatically a failure and a dumbass to them. So, but we'll move on to the next question. And before we move on, I just have to say, like I said, I've seen many comments where they're saying, I hope they port over the Wii U games. I'm sitting here thinking, but if you wanted to, instead of waiting 5 months, or let's say they launch Wii U ports when the Switch releases in March. But we know if they plan on doing that, it won't be available that first month, maybe 6 months later.
Hmm.
Buy a Wii U for cheap now, refurbished, as Mr. Red Fox said, and go out and hell, some of their biggest games, such as Pikmin and 3D World, are now Nintendo Selects, $20.
Hmm.
So you can
Yeah, but that
Target
makes
got a
sense.
sale right now, you bastards. Buy 2, get 1 free.
Yeah, but that makes sense. You know, gamers today don't
Shut
want
up.
to. I don't know what's
I
wrong
mean,
with you.
Make it Too much sense
I
for me.
just I just don't get it. It's like if you want Wii U games, you can go buy them right now and play them. I guess they're thinking the Switch version is going to be superior or look better. I'm like, no, I don't think I don't think so really. But I'm not going to rebuy those games just because they're on a new system. I'm sorry, I'm not a remaster whore. I'm not.
You'd
Well,
be
I'm just
surprised at
not.
the
it's a good
dumbasses
thing
in
you
this
don't.
community.
It's a good thing you don't have the PS4 because that's what it is. It's a remaster station. That's what they need to call it: remasters and ports.
Well, here's the third question for you guys. And Jewel, you can go first. And this is probably going to upset some people. I made a meme about this too. Why now are you okay with playing games on a small and or portable screen? Because what I kept hearing from the comments and the haters during this generation is I don't want to play my games on a small screen. I want to play it on my big luxurious 1080p or 4K TV. Why would I want to play it on a small screen? Blah blah blah. I don't care about that. The screen's not high def. All these other dumbass reasons of when celebrate off TV play, they downplay it. So now they're excited the prospect of, oh, I can play my games on a smaller screen. It's like, well, you can do that right now with the Wii U.
Right.
You really can all over your damn house, basically, unless you live in a mansion, but all over your damn house. So now you guys are happy that you can play games on the go or without the need of your television. So I want to know why they care about that now, but they don't care about it with the Wii U.
Well, I mean, bottom line is with like I said, it was unpopular almost from rip, and I can't say from rip because if you remember when the Wii U first launched, it launched well, and a lot of people say, "Oh no, it didn't, no, it didn't." No, it actually did. But by
Yep.
the time January came around and word got out that certain games were being delayed and different things like that, then all of a sudden it started slowing down.
Yep.
And that's when the droughts came in, and that's when the third parties started acting funny and different things like that. It didn't have any to do with power. It hated gamepad, as a lot of there as that the simple party started didn't have this software ready. We're still learning HD. That's the bottom line. Now is where a lot of people, they like I said, they Wii U train so hard that they're still having to sell it to themselves. Meaning, oh, why would you want to do that? I want to play it on my. I didn't buy this HD television, Ultra HD, about to be 4K. All of this other stuff that Sony and other companies told them that they needed in order to enjoy anything. And so they spent that money, and they wanted to make sure that they justified spending it. So off TV play was stupid, right? It didn't make any sense. But a lot of people that own Wii U's, they say, I love my off TV play. Now there's some people that say they don't, but there are a lot of people, probably the majority of people, that actually say that they do. Why? Because it gives you the opportunity to continue to play, even when you're not in front of the television, or even if someone else is watching the television. And so a good number of the games you can play off TV, and that's fantastic if you've tried it, right? But now there are people that are saying, oh, well, yeah, now I can take it on the go. This is the system. Well, it was the system before, right? The HD doesn't matter on a small screen anyway. So that excuse flies out the window. What really is it? And like I said, it's the simple fact that people just wanted to cling to what they said was their stance before, right? They vehemently opposed the Wii U, and so they had to continue to do so, even when it really didn't make sense to do so. Right, they just had to continue to do it. Now this is something new, and this isn't the same thing, even though it is. And
Yeah,
so
they
that's
hate
what it is.
they hate being wrong. It's someone who doesn't want to admit that they may have been wrong. And the sad thing is that the sad thing about all of this is that if you look at the Switch, it's basically, I mean, it's like they refined and perfected what they wanted to do with the Wii U anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So people are like, man, I hate the Wii U, but you want to buy what is essentially a Wii U. I mean, that's
A Super Wii U.
It's basically a Wii. It's like people like, man, I fucking hate the GameCube, but you bought a Wii, right? Yeah, that's a GameCube.
It was fully backwards compatible, even with the peripherals. So, funny thing is, with the Off TV Play, I love Off TV Play, but I've also been at the opposing end of Off TV Play. I recently, of course, a couple weeks ago, I bought Color Splash. You know, um, my wife turned it on. It's her first RPG. She didn't know it was one until I told her afterwards. Do you know how many times I woke up in the middle of the night to see this woman playing that shit next to me? And of course, it's off TV, but eventually what wakes you up is the small noises. Even though she may have had headphones in there, you can still hear some of the button presses. And eventually, the passionate way you play a game, especially when you're getting pissed off at some boss or whatever, you kind of make moves that could wake a person next to you. But she's done this at least 4 or 5 times. At least. And I'm not complaining, but it has happened. But it's funny to me that people would talk down on about off TV play, saying they don't care about that feature. I've said this in numerous podcasts. Have you ever been playing Call of Duty while answering the Call of Duty?
Mhm.
Is something glorious about that. Do you know what it's like to be playing on your television in the middle of a team deathmatch, and then you know your bowels start doing something funny, and you take it with you, and you continuously shit on the competition, metaphorically and literally. But it's a great feature, and now these people are like, "Well, I can't wait to do that." I say, "But you didn't want to do it with your big, brand new HD television. A 480p screen wasn't good enough for you." But now you're happy with the Switch and the fact that you can play Skyrim and 2K as if you're really going to. You bastards didn't want to use the remote play on the Vita.
There's one thing I do have to say though. People are like, "Oh man, Skyrim's coming to the system." Look, that demo that people saw, earlier this week, uh, people need to realize something. That was Nintendo literally said, "Hey, people who got our dev kits, can we take some of your game footage and show a representation of that game running on the system?" That doesn't mean the game's coming to that to the Switch or that they're working on it. It just means that they allowed Nintendo to use graphical representation of that game on the thing. I don't think anyone was really playing anything yet on that system in that commercial. So people need to, before they say, "Oh man, all these third parties are coming to the system," I'm like, really?
Yeah, I don't understand it, man. Like I say, I made a meme about it. It got some critical response, overwhelmingly so. But I honestly just don't get why these dudes want something they were shitting on prior to. Does anyone else want to comment on this particular question before we move on to the next one? Did everybody go?
I'm good.
No, I'm here.
Did you go, Sprite?
No, y'all basically took all the words out of my mouth.
Yep.
All right then. Well, question number 4. And Red Knight brought this up in one of his videos. Shout out to him, by the way. But why now do you consider Mario Kart, Zelda, and Mario adult games? Because we all seen this trailer, this reveal video, and they did not show any kids. It was mostly young adults. That's it. And Red Knight made a video saying that he's seen people saying, "Yeah, Nintendo's now they're catering to the adults and making adult stuff." Okay, they show 4 exclusive Nintendo games in the video. I don't think any one of them was over E for everyone. I don't. So why
Breath
is
of the
it?
Wild
So,
might
so
be.
what? I mean,
Might be E
it's
for
just funny.
I would.
You said what?
I said Breath of the Wild might be
T
E
for teen.
or ET.
Maybe.
ET. E10 plus, but we don't know. ESRB probably doesn't even know that yet.
Yeah.
I mean, but just to me, everyone is understanding that the Switch is gonna, go back to catering to the adults. I'm like, I don't. I think probably, in my opinion, the most adult Nintendo system that you could have played is probably the Wii U. If you think about the number of mature titles that are on it.
Mm, I would say it's maybe tied with the GameCube, yeah, because the GameCube had a lot of M-rated games too.
But to me, the only thing I saw in that video that was mature or adult was the Skyrim, maybe. Okay, but I don't really know. Maybe I can't recall what its rating is. If you
No, I
go
think
by the
those sports
soundtrack,
games
it
are
probably is
10.
mature, huh?
Yeah,
Well,
Skyrim is
2K,
M, and then sports
2K
sports are
teen,
probably
isn't it?
T. It's probably teen, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know the
Okay.
2K is supposed to have a storyline done by Spike Lee.
Yeah.
If you've seen Skate, that's not a every family member movie.
No.
It's fun though.
Well, you can go first, Perry. Why do you think that now Nintendo's for the adults? Why is it now that they don't look at Mario Kart and a Mario platformer as a
And
kiddie
split
game anymore?
two.
I think it's less about the games and just the overall reaction to the real trailer itself. Perception is a powerful thing, and so just both the way that the commercial or the advertisement itself was shot and like not edited, but like set up and like how it and the actors use and everything, and it's like the activity is doing it, and just the way the system looks. I think a lot of people feel like it's more mature than this, the Wii that had like a remote control, and there's a lot of like grandmas and kids, and that era was for families and stuff, which made them a lot of money and even had really good mature games. But surface level beauty is all people look at anymore, so that. But and then just the Wii U, they couldn't get away from that because it had the same name, and so people just kind of like took those perceptions and misconceptions from the Wii and took it to the Wii U, and they even like some would acknowledge some of the M games, but or the mature games, quote unquote. But it's just uh, unfortunately to some people the Wii brand is tainted with it's for kids. We can't be kids anymore. We gotta be mature. We gotta be mature with our Grand Theft Autos and our shooty bang bangs.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah, and then just to them, it just looks like a clean break. They can start over. They can be hip,
Yeah.
young, lit fam kids or whatever.
They don't need
And
to
be
be
mature with
embarrassed about playing this system.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yes. Yeah, and like it look like the system actually does look very sleek and like a high tech device you would have in your home nowadays. So that itself, I think, is just a big factor. Not so much the games, because the games will speak on their own, and we'll when we hear more about them and stuff. So I think, yeah, I think Zelda itself will never be considered kiddie except for when Wind Waker happened. Because again, those games speak for themselves, and people who play them won't say they're kiddie because they know that they're good games and stuff. So I don't know. That's just my 2 cents.
Any game that has a 12-year-old kid plant a sword in a grown man's head at the end, I'm like, I don't care what graphical style you use. That's some hardcore shit right there, man.
10 years old.
10, 12, like a little kid just
kid.
plant a
Little cat,
sword
maybe.
into a man's head.
Mhm.
That is fucked up right there. That's Wind Waker. People are like, oh, that's so kiddie. Really? I don't know what fucking kid movies you've been watching.
Yeah, it's actually funny because I know people they jump on the whole the Wii with with the Switch. It's all of a sudden there are no kids in the commercials, and it's catering to that older crowd now. But here's the thing, in the early Wii U ads,
I was
They
about to say,
actually,
I was about to look up the Wii U ad because I think that, like there's very little to no kids in
yeah,
that one too.
there's very very little kid, kid and older people. I think I know with remember the ad. It was like they were doing spot ads with the squares. The people were in the boxes, the colored
Yes,
boxes.
that was I think that was like the first like televised commercial ads that they put out.
Yeah, exactly. And there was one kid playing with his dad, and I
Yes,
think
it
I
was
don't
Lego
remember what
City.
game. Yeah, it was Lego City, exactly. That was one, and I think one other one showed like an old lady or something like that. But other than that, they were adults. And
Hmm.
Lego City was never geared toward children. It was never geared toward children.
And
If
anyone who's played that game knows that there's some jokes in there.
yeah,
Like there's some jokes in
exactly.
that. There's some jokes in Lego City where like you use the gamepad to like scan people's houses. You hear a guy ask his wife, yeah, we've been married for like 5 years. Why do none of our kids look like me?" It's like,
Oh yeah,
this is, oh God, you know.
I, I like the beginning when you're on the boat and it has like the Titanic scene,
Yeah,
and the girl falls off the boat. And he's like, "Remember me."
yeah. I mean, it's like, you know, like people need to
I'll be the
understand that,
one.
like something does not need to look to be hard. Something does not need to have a bald-headed white guy with a 5 o'clock shadow who talks like he gargles with rocks
Nails.
and nails and glass while taking swigs of whiskey between each gargling in order to be hardcore, or a
Right.
black guy, or a black guy, white guy, I don't care. I mean, it's like gamers. People need to stop being so scared of embracing that they like to play video games. It's ridiculous.
That's the thing. I mean, people they found themselves in this place where they feel like, okay, well, if it's Nintendo, there's no blood in the games. That went out the window a long time ago. Understand that went out the window a long time ago. They for whatever reason they've built up in their minds this caricature of what Nintendo is and what their gamers are, and they're finding it hard to let it go. Well, they pretty much have missed out on the Wii U generation. There are a lot of games that they settled on other consoles to get no new experiences whatsoever. We're what 3 years in on both of those consoles, and there's nothing there to play.
Well,
Barely anything there to play. I'll put it that way.
there's
But
a dearth of really good prime content on those consoles. Like games that are memorable. Like most of the game, a lot of games see on the Wii are memorable. Like people will be talking about. You'll pull out your Wii U and play it. Like people will still be playing Bayonetta 2 and
mhm.
Pokken and Smash Brothers, obviously, and people will be
Mario
playing
Kart,
Mario
Splatoon.
Kart, Splatoon. But I mean, do you see people like pulling out like The Last of Us 10 years from now? Seriously, Knack?
No. Which
Really,
one?
Knack?
I mean, which one? I mean, the PS3 version or the PS4 version or the PS Pro version? I mean, it's the same game. They did nothing
You're
to
right.
it.
They
They
did nothing.
upgrades, but that was it.
You know.
And you charge full price for that?
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
they want people to pay for it. They're like, "Hey, man, look at all this new stuff we added." I'm like, "Man, shit, who are you fooling?"
we added some pores to his face, so hey, pay full price.
Oh hell, let's not go to the pores and stuff now.
It's Nathan Drake. Don't you love him? Not really, no.
But and that you bring it up, I will say one thing. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm playing Sunset Overdrive. I love that game. I'm loving this game a lot. This is pretty much the only reason I even wanted an Xbox One because this is not even on PC. It's strictly on the console. And if I want to play it, this is what I have to do. I have to buy a console for it. The only thing in this game that is even remotely realistic, besides the body proportions of the characters, is you can actually see like the skin blotches in like the skin tone you choose. So it's not like a milky smooth color palette. You actually see the same flaws you would see in skin on a real person. That's the only thing that's realistic in this game. The rest of it is completely just fake and game like. It's great.
Hmm.
I love this game because it's not trying to be realistic. That's it. It even breaks the fourth wall when you hear a voice and she's like, "What's that? What's that in my head? Is that like a voice I'm hearing?" And he says, "Well, yes, this is the best way to give you information about the game." Like the hell, like it's just like that. Like you fall off a tall building that you're trying to work towards an objective, you'll teleport back to your last checkpoint, and she'll say some shit like, "Oh my gosh, I'm glad I have to do all that shit over again." Because you spent 5 minutes getting up this tall building without a checkpoint. It's like that really would suck. You have to start all the way over. But something like this game, it should have sold 5 million. The fact that it even got outsold by Bayonetta is I love Bayonetta too, but this game should have sold well.
No,
Now,
it just lets you know how fake some of these gamers are. You know, they're fake. They're like, oh man, I want new games, but they give you new games and you don't buy them. I mean, shit. What? I mean,
Hmm.
what are they supposed to do? And you know, they did the same thing to Nintendo with their new IPs. People are like, man, I want a Metroid Prime. Okay, you get Metroid Prime Federation Force. Ah, man, it's not what I wanted, but it's the it's
And it's a great game.
it's
It's a great game, but they already sold themselves on not getting it, and so the sales are low.
yeah.
and
I mean,
even the reviewers are like, "This is actually a pretty good game, and the story is actually pretty good."
Yeah,
Even the
I mean,
reviewers that were joining the gamers and talking down are like, "Yeah, this is
pretty good.
good game." Like
Pretty good. Yeah.
it's actually got, I think it was got like sevens and eights across the board.
Hmm.
You know, but they're
Nothing
gonna
bad about the
whine and
game, but they
complain
shitting
about it.
on it.
Oh, no, this is not very good. I can't play this game. It's not like Metroid Prime. You don't play like the other Metroid Prime games. Well, you're not playing Samus first of all, so that would kind of be an impediment to playing. Is it's not going to play like those other ones. But you know, I'm not
And,
whatever.
and even to tie into what Red Knight said about a year ago, um, the way Nintendo works is that they use one game to test out the interest another game of the same or IP. Like for example, the reason why there's a Donkey Kong Country on the 3DS is because they were trying to check out the interest for that IP, and they made one afterwards for the Wii U, which is it's a gorgeous game, gorgeous and challenging, one of the best platformers this generation. And even Tanami came out and said that he's always wanted to do a story about the Federation Force in the Metroid universe. He's always wanted to do this. He's always wanted to flesh out that aspect of the IP. You got the guy, the creator behind Metroid, telling you that this is something I always want to do, and it's an online multiplayer centric game. But even for the campaign, it's meant to be played online. And you guys are going to shit on him and disrespect this guy just because it's not the prime you want. You mean the prime that you didn't buy? You mean the one that the first one sold about 3 million copies, the next two sold less than 1.5? So those are games you want.
That you don't buy.
Exactly. But I won't get into that. In fact, you guys mentioned something earlier that segues into the next question, and this one may go on for a while. But we've all been seeing the ramblings. We saw the rumblings before the system launch, or before they revealed it, and since. Here it is. Question number 5. Why now is power not important? Because we all know people talk about power. It's got to have this. It's got to have this many titty flops. It's got to have at least 8 gigs of RAM if it wants to compete. It needs to have strong third party support. It's got to be powerful enough to handle third party games. It couldn't even handle the Batmobile and Arkham Knight. Okay. Now, do you
I
think
would love
this
Arkham
system?
Knight without the Batmobile.
And say I have the game. I understand,
And let's
but
be honest, the Batmobile makes that game worse.
shitty. Yeah.
When
But
implemented well,
even
i.e.,
with
the
that said,
first dungeon, it's really good. But after that, It's not.
I'm gonna tell you the best game that I've
I know
ever
you're-
played that had the Batmobile in it, like hands down, like old school, is Batman Returns Sega CD version, and maybe Lego Batman 2. Other than that,
I just to me, I look at this Switch system and all I see. This is not me downplaying it because it's a good thing to me, but all I see is a perfected Wii U. I don't even think it's more powerful than the Wii U. I think it's a Wii U with a fully, aspect to it. But I don't even think it's more powerful than the Wii U. I think they took the architecture instead of it being AMD, it's now NVIDIA. But I think it's still, but they mentioned it's still a very custom chipset and architecture. So to me, all it is a Wii U with complete portability. And so you guys are happy that this thing is not on the level of the Scorpio, as the rumor suggests, is not on the par with the PS4 Pro, as rumors suggest. Like, what happened? Because y'all was saying this thing had to have power, or else you're not interested. And now you got a damn tablet, and you're happy.
yeah, but the Wii U was a tablet, and they couldn't handle it. I mean, the double standards is ridiculous. But whatever.
Well, who wants to go first on this? Why is power not important now?
I'll jump in.
Go ahead.
The bottom line, it's like I said before, I think what it is because a lot of people realize, you know what, this thing is going to be popular, just based on the reception that it got. And it's coming, it's coming up, power, I mean, because you do hear some of the same people trying to bring that stuff up. But I think what's happened is a lot of people have grown weary of it. A lot more people, I'll say, have grown weary of that conversation, because what has power gotten you from PS4 and Xbox One?
Iterative console.
A few games, just a few, but not many new games. You talked about trying to find exclusives that you'll want to play, and you can't find many of them 3 years later. That sounds like a drought to me, but they're not going to call it a drought because they have, last year's version of this Game of the Year edition of the same game coming out this year, and different things like that. And so you're not really, there are new things, and I'll use the word new loosely, kind of the way Nintendo has with the new 3DS, right? It's kind of a loose definition of the word new, but at the same time, now you're really going to get some. If you look at that trailer, I mean, I know a lot of people, look at that and say, oh, well, there are reports of this, reports of that, and some of that I might be able to be on board with, but some of it actually doesn't look like ports to me, like Splatoon. If you really look at that trailer, I know it was only one map, it was only one couple of seconds or whatever, one intro scene, but I'm sure most, if not all of you guys on the line have played several hours of Splatoon by now, and you'll notice that the way that the opening animation, when they come up out of the home base teleport,
It's
they're
so
not
much
bunched,
smoother.
they're not bunched up in a group of four. They're lined up side by side. That's one thing that you'll notice that's different. Obviously, their attire is different. They're wearing pants or shorts now, as opposed to the same. Yeah, exactly. Hairstyles, all of
They
that
hold
stuff
rollers
looks
differently. They're like, there's different animations for weapons and stuff.
Yeah, there's different weapons. There's different, there's way too much that's different beyond the map, right? There's way too much that's different beyond the map to tell me that that's the same game, right? That's not the same game. Even if they say it's Splatoon 1.5, it's not the same game. And that, if we'll remember, they stopped releasing new content quite some time ago, right? The game's been out for quite a while now, and they
also mind if I chime in with this? I've listened to a lot of discussions on the NS and just people's thoughts, and all the big thing is people are like to speculate of like what are launch games and what of these ports hypothetical ports slash, are they sequels or are they just what's the word I'm looking for?
Rehashes or
No, not rehashes. No, concept. There we go. Like not concept art, but concept gameplay kind of thing. Like not a
right
full
demos
game,
or
just
something.
demo. Yeah. And everyone's like, they can't make a Splatoon 2. It's too early. That's like, you guys do know like Splatoon was made in a year.
Hmm.
Like the stuff they showed at E3, they finished that game with its content that they wanted to ship it with at the time was done within that year from E3 to that next spring.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was a budget title for
Hmm.
Nintendo. So I mean, I'm not gonna get mad about that. I had a
So
pseudo
like,
debate with someone about the shit, but I mean, whatever. It's a good game.
but yeah,
Good
but
system.
anyway, you can go back now. Sorry, I just wanted to get
Yeah.
that. You can go back to your thought.
Oh, no problem, no problem. Yeah, and so like you were saying, I mean, but here's the thing: even if it's not, you can tell they've made a lot of changes to it, so it's still going to be a brand new experience. And see, a lot of, like I was saying, a lot of people have actually missed out on the Wii U generation simply because they chose not to participate, but they wanted to from the line. I mean, I've seen quite a few people that say, oh, I wish Nintendo would bring Splatoon to the 3DS. I'm like, well, why don't you just get a Wii U? I never really understood that. I'm like, why don't you just get the Wii U? And like I said, a lot of people, they just made it up in their mind that they weren't going to get the system, they weren't going to support it, and now they'll have the opportunity to play some of those games, so they think, and now they're thinking, oh yeah, now well I can get it, and I don't have to get the Wii U, and like someone said a moment ago, they won't have to be embarrassed about having it. Right? Here's the thing: if system embarrasses you, then why are you a gamer? Right? Because the bottom line is the majority of people out there are not gamers. Quite naturally, a lot of people out there are absolutely not gamers. 100 million Wii U's were sold, but most of those people aren't gamers. Right? Much more than half of those people are not gamers. They'll never pick up another Wiimote. They'll never pick up another nothing. They'll pick up nothing else gaming related other than maybe their cell phone or a tablet. And that's
Very true.
okay. But understand where you are, the hobby that you've picked up as a gamer, it's not a popular hobby. It's never been a popular hobby. But the thing is, a lot of people have jumped into it and they try to make it the cool thing to be, just like it's the cool thing to be a nerd in a lot of circles.
Mm-hmm.
But the bottom line is, those things were never, quote, cool. It's just something that people decided to do and they weren't afraid to be themselves in it. And that's the difference. Bottom line.
I agree.
Yeah, and it's crazy.
I agree because I mean, like you said, those same people that bought the Wii, they haven't picked up any other type of remote besides the Wii mode. They haven't. Even though it had all the control options, and some games were better played with the classic controller, they probably never even owned anything besides the Wii Wiimote and nunchuck. Period.
And they're still
Mhm.
happy with their Wii too. I
Yeah.
mean, they've got it and it works, and they're happy
No,
with it.
okay, Red Fox, I'm gonna call you on your bullshit right there, man, because I've heard everyone say, man, yeah, I only take my Wii out of the closet for holidays to play with families.
Well, I can tell you right now, as someone who has, people in my family and my extended family that have Wii's, and they still play them and they enjoy them. I mean,
Hmm.
it was kind of like an enemy of it. It was a victim of its own success because it literally, it grabbed that casual audience so well that they were like, I don't need anything else. I'm good. I got my Wii Sports. I got my blocks too. You know, my Wii
I mean,
Sports Resort. I'm good.
but to me, I just think I find it funny that this whole generation has been about power. The whole thing. You need power. The first time a developer said no, when they lied and said no, we can't. It won't be bringing this to the Wii U because
Oh
it's not
God, I
strong
hate that.
enough. Like the first time that shit happened, it then became a thing of, well, we need more power, and then developers start saying that, well, with the Xbox One and the PS4, the reason why it's on PS4 because we needed power to make our dream real reality. It's like, okay, so what about those developers that work with 16 bits back in the day and made some of the most memorable experiences of all time? I don't think they said, hey, Nintendo, the hell with this Super NES you got. We need you in 2 years to release something more powerful than this. No, they
The
did. They
SNES
made a
point
version for the
five,
Sega Genesis. Nintendo. That's what they did.
and sometimes they would make it
And
for the TurboGrafx 16, which came out the same year as the Sega Genesis. So I mean, literally for like people. If you hear a developer from years ago say, "Oh, we can't do this because of hardware. The hardware isn't powerful enough," that's bullshit. If Warner Brothers Montreal could downport Arkham City into Arkham City Armored Edition to the from the 360 and the PS3 and put it on the Wii U, there's
with
anyone who
all the
tries.
deal, with all the DLC and additional exclusive features.
Yeah, plus extra shit that wasn't on the other ones. If they any developer who nowadays says we don't have enough power to realize what we want to do, it was like okay during the 16-bit era. If they said okay, we want to make a GTA game, like a GTA game as we understand it now on a 16-bit console, you couldn't do it. It just the technology wasn't there yet. Now look, it's like the late Satoru Iwata said, the late and very great Satoru Iwata said, we're reaching the point where power just doesn't mean anything anymore, and that's what's happening. Power doesn't mean anything anymore. And if you
We,
hear if a developer pops up and says, "Oh, this hardware is powerful enough for us," they're shitty developers because good developers could take a shoestring and a rubber band and make a good game if they had a good enough idea.
and the funny thing is, maybe it's just
Most of
because
the
we're the
time, it
ones with
won't be
common
the
sense.
developers; it'll be the publisher saying that anyway.
Yeah.
But the funny thing to me is, the ones that
Big
are
difference.
saying this, if you look, and I know we realize it, but most of these, rose tinted glasses fans out there, they don't. If you look at games from the seven generations and you look at their successors on the eighth gen or their remasters, I'm not seeing a difference.
There
Like
isn't a
when
difference.
like to me, people like I've actually like there are people on YouTube that I'm really cool with. We are of the same mindset, truly. But then, like for example, I mentioned that when I mentioned that Persona 5 was coming to the PS3. Well, shit, I'm getting it for the PS3 because I don't have a PS4, but I'm not gonna buy a PS4 because I don't like the whole mandatory install shit. So I'd rather get on the PS3. Simple. It's the same game. It's an RPG. Just because it's 720 on the PS3 and 1080 on the PS4, I don't really give a shit. I don't. And someone said, "The hell with that." I'm going to get on the PS4 for the graphical upgrade. So let me get this straight, Nate. He has a PS4 already, so he's going to be 60. But I'm thinking I'm going to be able to pop my game in and play from minute one. You have to wait about 30 minutes to an hour for an install before you can play it. And this game does not have a realistic art style to it. It's like cell shading and shit. So can you really tell the difference in cartoons between 720 and 1080?
Not really. No.
No, you can't.
I mean, let's keep it real. It's gonna for this. It's gonna come down to preference and what's easiest for the individual. Like, if you already have a PS4, get it for the PS4. I don't have a PS4. I have no intentions of buying one anytime soon. So if I get something for the PS3, I'm happy with it. It's just gonna depend on what you like and what you feel like doing. That's all it is.
And how many of us remember when they first showed Breath of the Wild? When they first showed it, and then Nintendo announced it's going to come out, it's going to be delayed because it's going to launch simultaneously on the Switch. I've seen so many folks saying, "I'm just going to get it on the Switch because it's going to look a lot better." So in the
I'm
reveal
sorry.
trailer, it's not looking a lot better. It looks the same.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, to me, it looks not quite as good as what we saw on the Wii U. But I mean, like people forget this game was built for the Wii U, so really, if you get it for the Switch, it's being ported over to the Switch, but it was really built for the Wii U. So I'm going with the system the shit was built for. That's just me.
Exactly. But they jumped the gun and said, "Yeah, I'm gonna get it for the Switch." Like, you go right ahead. I'm gonna get it for both if it comes down to it, but I'm definitely getting it for the Wii U because I mean, and I'm not gonna buy 50 plus other games and not buy the premier title on the system that's going to really. I mean, this is a title that's gonna dwarf all the other ones.
Plus, I'm a
So
cheap
why would I
bastard.
not buy the best game but buy all the others? If I can own Assassin's Creed 3 on the Wii U, I better get Breath of the Wild. I'm just saying.
I, you know, I bought Assassin's Creed 3 for the Wii U. That's one of the few Wii U games that I actually traded in. Like I played it and I beat it within a week, and I was like, man, fuck this shit, and I went and traded it in. Oh god, Ubisoft needs to be like Ubisoft really needs to just take a break and let their games breathe and rest for a little bit.
True. Very, very true. Well, we'll move on to the last question and wrap this up. I know it's getting late for some of you guys. But question number 6, and this is going to sound very familiar too with the comments on the Switch. Why now for more Nintendo exclusives than third party? And I say that because I've seen a few comments, just like the other questions. I've seen some comments. Some Nintendo fans are saying, "Well, you know, why didn't we? Why? Well, what about the Nintendo exclusives? You're showing this third party stuff." And of course, I see the third party people saying, "Well, why won't you show us what Nintendo games you're going to have coming out at launch?" It's like, why do you care? Because last time I checked, and I still hear to this day, everyone's saying, "Oh, another Mario game. I don't want to buy a Wii U because all they got on there is Mario, Zelda, and blah blah blah, and Animal Crossing." Now you want to see these games. Now you want to know when they're coming out. But on the Wii U, you didn't give a shit. And last time I checked, Mario Kart 8 is sold over to half the install base of the Wii U. Over half. One
Much
out of
more
two
than
Wii U
half.
owners owns Mario Kart 8. Splatoon is about to hit 5 million of the install base.
So basically, like almost 40% of the install base, 45, 40.
But Mario Kart 8 is 8 million. That's over
Yeah,
half.
yeah, way over
Yeah.
half.
So
There's 13 million Wii U sold and over 8 million copies of Mario Kart. It's huge.
And that gets because even Mario Kart Wii didn't have the install base. Mario Kart Wii had almost 40 million units sold now. That would be roughly 5 to 40% of the 101, 102 million they sold. It didn't even have a penetration as big as Mario Kart 8 does. Now you guys, you're not sick and tired of Mario and Zelda games anymore. I find that funny because you were just bitching about this even this year. Oh, the only thing coming out for 2016 is another Mario game, Color Splash. If it ain't Thousand Year Door, I don't want it. Like, okay,
Oh God.
you sack of shit. I'm, I'm at the point now
here's the
where it
thing:
says,
Paper Mario Color Splash is actually really graphically. It's one of the most graphically impressive games, not just on the Nintendo system, but of any system I've seen on any of the consoles this year. It's one of the most graphically impressive games I've seen.
and I
I
can
mean,
tell
Because
you, they're
it's a
using a
brilliant
Splatoon
it's a
ink engine.
brilliant game in that the use of color in that game, it's fitting that it's in the title. That's why it's a brilliant game. It's bright,
yeah.
it's colorful, and and then of course the story, the gameplay, all of that combined with all of that, it makes it a great game. But of course, people, oh no, no, forget that. But the difference is because it's able to stand alone right now, more people are actually giving it a try and realizing, you know what, this is actually a really good game. So I actually have high hopes for its sales by the end of it, if that makes sense. Because a lot of people, I think, because it started getting a lot of that Federation Force treatment early
Hmm.
on,
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah.
but I
Much
think
so.
it's going to do a lot better than that because it's having to stand on its own right now.
True. And like I said, my wife, when I first got the game, I think the first 2 days she put in 25 hours. The first two days.
Wow.
I hadn't had a chance to play it yet. I mean, I really have not. That's why I said, okay, I'll just play my Wii U. I'll play a little Splatoon and Sunset Overdrive and other stuff, But she's playing the game. She's still enjoying it. She loves the story. Everyone I've even has the game said the story is funny as hell. It's amazing. Nintendo's taking pot shots at everyone, including themselves. And even to me, Nintendo's attention to detail is so strong that even when you turn the game on, the screen on the gamepad is in sepia tone, no color, and then it slowly bleeds into color, slowly. That in itself gives you a clue that in this game it's about restoring color to it.
Hmm.
And I won't even get on the Rescue V Squad. I won't even comment on those people. Like the game is just so colorful and hilarious. I mean, there's nothing to be said. To me, it's right there in terms of like aesthetics and gameplay. I like it just from what I've seen. I like it just as much as I like Woolly World and Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. Like it really does stand out. Like even just everything they did with the whole paper mache thing and the backgrounds, everything about it is like wow. Like it's like you found someone that loves paper more than anyone else. Made this person just create a world for you because I can't see a normal person designing a game in this much detail. When you see the damn cardboard, even you see the ripples on the interior of how it's made. Yeah, but it's there.
Yep.
But it just to me, with everyone saying that they want more Nintendo exclusives, doesn't the Wii U right now have so many damn exclusives?
Yeah.
Why don't you realize you have what you're looking for and wanting in a Switch? You actually have right now. I see why Nintendo went through the trouble to fool you by rebranding the Wii U and calling it the Switch. Why they did it? Because they pulled the Switch and said, you know what? Let's kill off the Wii U. Let's let's go ahead and make it the way we wanted to make it in the beginning, since the technology is there and it's available for cheap, and we're gonna call it the Switch because it's the same thing. You guys are want Nintendo exclusives. The system out right now has them in droves.
Yep.
They're
Not that you're
pulling.
getting more third-party games, at least according to the video. Now you're saying we want more exclusives.
Yeah. All I'm gonna say is this. Let me put it this way: before anyone starts saying, "Oh man, look at all these third-party games," take a deep breath, take a step back, and remember how we've seen this two other times with the GameCube and the Wii. So please, and the Wii U. So that's three. Please do not tell me, "Oh man, we're gonna get third-party support." Okay, I'm not gonna hold my breath waiting on it. I'll tell you that much.
The thing
Yeah,
about
because
it,
they
it's
can't.
funny because I know a lot of true Nintendo fans, especially the ones that really have enjoyed their Wii U. They have been saying for years now, and it got to the point where people were sick of them saying it, but it still rang true that Nintendo truly doesn't quote need third parties because they can stand on their own, but it's actually a good thing to have the third parties. But here's the thing, because Nintendo they realized early on in the lifespan of the Wii U that they had to focus in on their own on their own first party and second party titles. They had to focus in on their own IP because that was the only way they were going to be able to make the investment in the Wii U on their part and on the consumer's part worthwhile. That was the only way they were going to be able to do it. And so that's why they focused in on their first party. That's why we were able to get, so much care and love and attention out of a Mario Kart 8, out of a brand new IP like Splatoon, out of a Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, out of just the even the a remastered Wind Waker HD, just
Oh, this game's
different
beautiful.
things that Nintendo focused in on. They were able to really put the love and dedication and time into, and it obviously shows in the sales. Look at the attach rate of those top 10 Wii U games, as far as the list that just came out last week. You have, of course, Mario Kart 8 at the top with over 8 million units sold, but then you still have million sellers out of all of the top 10, and they're all exclusives. I mean, come on now, really? They're all exclusive titles, and they're killing it for a system that's only sold 13 million. Come on now, that's huge. It's absolutely huge. But you have other systems that already have sold 40 million, I think 20 million, something like that. I think it's 40 million PS4s sold, but none of them have actually reached even that 8 million that Mario Kart 8 has done.
Yeah, and the sad thing is that there are third-party games on the Wii U that have outsold third-party games on the PS4 and the Xbox One. That's embarrassing. I'm sorry. That is like, if you are a third-party developer, you're like, well, we'll get on our knees and do special favors for Sony and Microsoft because they give us money. I mean, how is that worked out for you? I mean, is it really helping you out? Is it really making things better for you? Are you making money? Not really.
Anybody else before we shut it down? Anybody?
I'm good.
Bueller.
Well, that will be all for tonight, folks. I really want to thank all you guys for showing up. I know it was late. Had some things come up yesterday that they already came up. I forgot about them. But anyway, go ahead and give your sign-offs, and we'll start with you, Jeweler.
All right, fantastic. Well, again, Jewel Archon from Jewel Archon Gaming. Vlog I'm trying to really get going, so definitely, if you can, show some support. You can go to jewelgaming.wordpress.com. Check me out, see what I'm writing about, and leave any comments, different things like that. Help me to get the content out and keep it better for you guys. So with that, definitely appreciate it.
All right, man. Once again, thank you for coming, man. Come back as much as you can. I do this every week with this, a different crew of bastards if it comes to that.
Appreciate
For the
it.
viewers out there, definitely do check him out. As I said, he's one of the few blogs, article writers that I even check out because, I mean, IGN, ignorant, GameSpot, don't even talk about it. The rest of them, just forget about it. Anyway, next up will be Mr. Red Fox, the original BS Buster.
Yeah, it's me, Mr. Red Fox. Like I said, owner proprietor BS Busters, where I do not take bullshit lightly.
But you still take it though.
No.
That's what you're implying.
Not only do I take it, but I go out of my way to break my foot off in its patootie, as Undercover Brother would say.
Perry.
What's up, Perry fans? Good discussion. Random citizen of the internet. You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, the Google Pluses, PerryFan74 on all of them. But no, I got nothing to really pimp out myself. But as usual, I do have a recommendation of internet's awesomeness, and one is it's another YouTube video. It is by Christopher Neosi. He is a voice director and voice actor. He was I can't remember the character, but he was in the recent Tales game, and he did the Brawl Taunts on Newgrounds back in like the aughts, like 2005, 2006. If you ever seen those, but anyway, he did a video talking to what's his name, Crispin Freeman, who's a voice actor in video games, about this whole Performance Matters voice actor strike that they're having with big AAA gaming publishers and how they're just kind of mistreating them and kind of being shitty as usual. And it really goes into detail about the facts and stuff, so of the strike and why it's out and what they're wanting and what the publishers want and don't want, and just a very good look inside that aspect of video games that a lot of people take for granted nowadays. But yeah, it's Performance Matters, the video game voice actor strike. Just type in Kerblog and you should be able to find it. It's a really good video. I suggest if you like voice acting or just games in general and want to know more, I suggest looking it up. So other than that, I got nothing more to say. Good cast.
All right. And of course, someone had to leave early. Sprite Remix. Be sure to check him out when it comes to old school games and beating Contra on hard. I don't know anyone else, but as always, I'm your host, Dr. Feelgood. Thank you guys for tuning in and hearing us rant about the Nintendo Switch. And until next time, as I always say, keep it gaming.